I recently received a message in which a gentleman just expresses his concern of how horrible it must be to be kidnapped from your home or from work, or if just out and about. Maybe you're just shopping for groceries and you get kidnapped by your own government and taken to a high security facility, an undisclosed facility. Think about how horrible that would be. And there's a lot of evidence, at least here in the U.S., I'm sure there's a lot of these installations across the world. But here in the U.S., we have a number, and I mean a large number, of underground facilities, military bases, all kinds of government installations, deep underground. And there's networks. Think about how horrible it would be to be experimented on or tortured by your own government. And this stuff really goes on. And if we're lucky to go our whole lives and not have to experience this, that's awesome. But there's a number of people that have gone through this. Very few ever, live to tell about this. And some people don't believe these individuals. Other people, you have to kind of just scratch your head and say, I don't know. We just don't know. But we do know that our governments lied to us. Our governments do a lot of very nasty things to us, poison our food. They allow all kinds of crazy things to be normalized in society. Various pharmaceuticals, which sometimes the side effects are worse than the disease that it's treating. Sometimes it's experimental foods. They allow various manipulations of vaccines and make them unsafe. They pervert culture. And it just goes on and on. Governments have their own agenda. That's a fact. If you're in the way, they're going to do what they can to remove you so they can proceed. And so it got me thinking. That particular message I received got me thinking. I've thought about this before over the years, but there's something about knowing that other people are thinking about this too. That we live in dangerous times. And here in the U.S., we're in constant battle with socialism. The socialist element is alive and well. Or at least it thinks it's alive and well. But us patriots have to put it in its place. There are so many efforts that are ongoing to take our freedom. It is sometimes shocking to kind of just step back and see the big picture of all these attacks on our nation, our way of life, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. You would think that they would just give up at some point. But the United States of America and other countries as well are under a full assault. They are under attack. We are under attack. And so it shouldn't be a surprise to see what we see these days. But there's evil everywhere. Evil, evil, evil. There's a lot of good too, though. But there's so much evil. And it seems like the evil gets most of the attention. But just remember, though, behind the doors, there's a lot of good people like you and I. And we're the ones keeping peace in the world. We're the ones keeping things functional, at least for the moment. And so I can't predict what's going to happen in the future, but I can just look in the last few years and kind of, make an educated guess that in the upcoming years, there's just going to be more of a battle. And there's just going to be more conflict. And you can only deal with this for so long, legally or politically, and then it gets to the next level. And so it is very concerning, the direction of many countries in the world, in particular the U.S. It's very, very concerning. So I just want to speak just for a moment about kidnapping. Kidnapping is horrific. The best thing you can do is just prevent the kidnapping from happening to begin with. Prevention is the number one thing here. If you are taken, try to escape as early as possible. The earlier, the better. It increases your odds of surviving. The longer you wait, the lower your odds of surviving, period. The problem is that you may be severely injured. You may be restrained in a way that you can't free yourself in the back of a trunk of a vehicle, or maybe you're in the back of a van and you're surrounded by people and you have a bag over your head and you're tied or handcuffed. And gagged. There are some situations you just may not have the possibility to free yourself and to escape. These are very bad situations, and anyone can be a target. Not just the wealthy, not just if you're a female, but it could just be anyone, especially if it's the government coming over to kidnap you. So, I really don't want to know, but there's a part of me that just wants to have some answers. What really goes on, in the world that we never see. I wonder how many people they have in various secret facilities doing secret tests. I would imagine it's thousands, if not tens of thousands of people. Just look at how many people go missing a year in every country. Every country has a pretty large number of people. They just disappear, like off the face of the earth. There certainly are some that, they die or they get lost and they perish due to natural causes. Sure. Animals attack humans sometimes. Sometimes people, they get too close to the water, or if they're on the water doing some type of sport, they could drown. There are some of those things. But what about all those other people? Possibly the majority of people are missing and no explanation. They're never found. Their body is never found. Can you believe that? How would you deal with that? If you have a friend or a family member, what happens if it's your brother or sister or your mom or your dad and they just disappear off the face of the earth? They just disappear. This is sometimes what happens. It's not just people out in the wilderness or in national parks. Sometimes a person is just supposed to be driving home from work, and their commute time is 10 minutes or less, and they just never come home, and they're never seen again. There are some crazy things that happen in this world, but the problem is that these things happen so often. So you have to be very vigilant. In this day and age, you do not trust your government. And you know why? They don't trust you. And they have broken the social contracts that we've had with them. They lie and they cheat. They do evil things. And while there's good people now still in governments, there's a lot of rogue elements in government too. Governments are supposed to serve the people and secure their liberty. But what they do in the modern day is they enslave the people, and they think the people are supposed to serve them. Everything is backwards. The world is upside down. The world is on fire.